Alright guys, well it's actually been a few days since I've been out in the garage. I've been a little sick. Yesterday was Remembrance Day. I didn't do one thing yesterday. I was planning on being in the garage in the afternoon, but that didn't happen. That being said, anyone you guys who are a veteran or like that, thanks for doing everything you guys do. Lets me piss around the garage working old hot rods. So that's pretty good. But anyways, I'm going to fight through it a little bit. Got a pocket full of holes and boredom is taking over, so I'm ready to work on the car. So, two-door conversion time. So, I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm sure I'll do it over a few few episodes there. But this one I'm going to do a little different. I did the 55. I had that parts car. I don't have that on this situation, so I'm going to be using the back door as a skin. And I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with the trim. But I'll figure that out once it's a two-door, because four doors aren't for me, as it turns out. So step one, I'm going to start pulling the interior out, so I got to pull the seats out, and then put the carpet out or rolled over, put a welding blanket down. Doors off, which has come off no big deal. I hope anyways. I know the other side, I don't even know how many the doors are on when I got this thing. Do that, and then I'll bring you back and I'll kind of show you the way this post is. I know a lot of guys drill it out and stuff like that. I did it on the 55 and that just tore it right up, so I think I'm just going to cut it out. And then it is different here. This section's different on a four-door and a two-door, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with that just yet. But I'm sure I'll figure something out and we'll make it work. But yeah, so I'll get to disassembly. Well, just like that, it's a two-door. Take doors off. So, pretty simple. Now, the problem's going to be, like I said, right here. This is where I'm going to want to join the back skin on, so I'll have to do a little trimming on that and make that fit. For this piece here, you see this little lip, it kind of rolls over, so it's all spot welded in. That's where I ended up drilling a bunch of holes out on the 55. I think what I'm doing this one is just zip cut the whole piece right out, and then I'll just weld a piece in, because it's just super easy. At the bottom, same kind of idea. It's got a little lip here that just goes around, so I'll just kind of cut that out and across. I take this piece out. And what this piece does is it just kind of has a little contour of the door. So I'll try and zip it out best I can to keep it, because I'll probably just end up using a little piece here, because I think that the two-door and the four-door, this little piece is all the same. So I'll take that piece out, zip that out, and then the post should be easy to come out. I don't actually think I'm going to take the whole interior apart. I might pull the back seat out and stuff, and I'll just kind of roll the carpet over, and then maybe I should take the bench out. It's just super easy to do, but once I get the post out, everything will come out really, really easy. So I think that's what I'm going to work on next. So after about 10 minutes of grinding, there you go. So like I said, I just kind of cut the piece right out. I'll just show you. I find it easier to cut that. Well, just down here even I could show you. So now all we have to do is just, I'll clean this up a little bit, but a flat piece, like a little L on it, back down, weld it in, and there you go. And that's on the inside of the car. And, I mean, the post will end up kind of somewhere about here, so you're only going to see a little bit of it. So it'll be no big deal. So I don't think there's too much of a point going too crazy. And then up top, same thing. I'll just kind of bend a little piece up, weld it in, and then on the inside it just kind of goes to nothing. There's some little trim pieces that go around. So that's that. It was pretty simple. Just gotta make sure you get the wiring out of the way. This one, the actual dome light worked, so I want to make sure it kept working. So I just got to clean off the little slag here, whatever's left. And then, like I said, because I didn't drill any spot welds out on the bottom side, I'll have to kind of clean this piece off, and I won't even be able to just reuse it. But that worked out a lot better, because like I said, when I was drilling it out, I just mangled this piece, so I found it easier. I'm not going for an original look. Down there. So yeah, there you go. Now you've done this, panic sets in. Been there. So the next step I'm going to do, I'll hang the door, just with the same hardware. Hang the door, close it, make sure you're happy with your gap on the fender around here, and at the front it's always really tight here, so do the best you can, as much fitting as you can right now. And then I'll show you once you kind of close the door. what I did before is I actually latched the post onto the door. Now this is a different post, so I might have to do some chopping to it, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess I got to get in there and take this piece of glass out and some of the moldings out, but that's a fair bit of progress in an hour. You can sure mangle something up pretty quick. There it is. Rough, real rough. But so you can see my fender gap is pretty good. This gap around here is pretty good, but I'm real tight here. And this isn't too bad. It kind of curves up just a little bit. So if I can drop the door just a little, I should be able to open that up a little. But it's a pain doing it with a stool and a floor jack. It's kind of a two-man job, but I just got it clamped together. So there you go. Just that simple. And as you can see, where I cut out the post is actually hidden by the door. So now the next thing is fit that post in. I think I'm done for the night though. I'm feeling kind of crappy and zonked. I got to do a little research in the internet. I don't know what I'm going to do with this piece right here. I might just kind of cut it out and then weld something back in after. But that's the thing with metal. You can just grind and weld till you're happy. So that's that. I took this back window out, a little piece of this chrome, because you're going to have to cut this piece out at a bit of an angle. So that's all out. And then decide what we want to do for the inner structure. A lot of guys know I just skin it and kind of weld it in. I think I want to keep as much of the inside structure of the door as I can, just so it has some strength to it. But we'll see. So that's what I'll be back at tomorrow. But that's it for me tonight. Like I said, yeah, probably make this a few part series. You know, kind of put out a video every couple of days as I'm making progress. So make sure you like, tell your friends, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll be back at tomorrow. What's going on, guys? It's another cold day out in the garage. So I did a little bit of a little work area. I pulled the seats out. So I just kind of roll the carpet over. I'll probably do that or throw a welding blanket down. So the task today, I'm going to fill in these two voids that I've cut out. So I plan with that. This is the old roof off that scrap two-door 55 I had years ago, so it's going to keep giving. And then the post, I got to figure out how this works. So I'm going to cut this piece off. This is what would fit in between the two doors. So I'm going to try and take it off. I might reuse it to join everything together. And I was doing a lot of research. A lot of people are convinced that you have to use the four-door latch and graft it onto the two-door door. So I've heard that both ways it does work and doesn't work. I'm going to try not to. I don't really want to cut up a door. I'm already chopping up the post. So I might have to make some spacers on that, or we'll see what happens. They are the identical latches, so there's no issues there. I think I actually used four-door latches on my two-door when I did it. So I'll have to do a little measuring there and just see what I can fix. But kind of a boring day, so I'll get that kind of ground down, little piece welded in, and test fit the door a little more, because like I said, it's a little unhappy yet. I got to bring it back. And once I get the door where I want it, then I can make that fit, weld that in. The door should latch. I got to go through this latch. It's all seized up, so it needs to be kind of WD-40'd. Get that going, and then I can start worrying about what I want to do with this back section. Here are my pieces. I just cut it out and kind of bent in the vise, and then that's the top one. So now let's kind of go back. I'll clean this piece up and just kind of grind around, get all this junk off. A few little tack welds, and then I'll see. I'm not too worried about it because I think the post is going to cover the back half of it. So I might just have to kind of make this front part look nice, and same up top, because that's where it is. So I'm not going to be too concerned about it. I'll just kind of weld it in, and then once I get the post in, I'll finish weld the parts I think they're going to be seen, because it's not structural. And then yeah, I should be able to start working on the post. Okay, so I kind of jumped ahead there. I got going. So I got those patches in. I don't know if I brought you guys back, but they're in. I ended up trimming up the post, so I cut this little piece off, which is right here. And then I just kind of placed it where I want it and gave it a couple of really ugly tack welds right through the paint even. But it latches. Now it's still got obviously a lot of plagues. There's no weather strip. You can see there's still a gap. But overall, it's not too bad at the top. It could go up a little bit. But I mean, then you're going to gain at the bottom. The bottom's a nice fit. So I'm happy with that. I got to fold this door out. It's got a big whammo. So yeah, I mean, that's that. like I said, once this piece, I gotta, you know, make a piece that will go out to the skin of the door. I don't know, seems to work fine without changing that the hinge like people are recommending, so I'm happy with that. Still a little bit tight the front, so I can take a little bit out, maybe more. But I mean, I don't know, it's progress. So I think that's it for tonight. Being sick's really kicking me in the ass here. So I'm going to, tomorrow, be probably cutting that piece out, and then doing some measuring as to what I want to do for that quarter panel skin and how I want to attach it. But really, you know, seems to be going pretty good. Never done it this way before, but I think it'll have the overall desired effect. So I got bored after supper and I came back out to the garage. So I cut that little piece out. I got the inner structure of the door. I cut the top of it off because I'm obviously got to section a piece of it out, so I just chopped it. And I kept as much here because I think that's where I'll do some miscellaneous stuff. And now I'm going to cut just 4 inches off. I measured it's about 6, but I like to just kind of eyeball it, so I'm going to cut off a little bit, and then I should just have a skin I can kind of overlay on the car a little bit and get a good idea of where I'm going to be at. So I'm down to one last zip disc, unfortunately. So hopefully I'll be able to slice this up and then test fit it, and I can get some more stuff tomorrow. All right. So I have way too much material. It's hanging into the door, but I want to test fit it all, and then I don't know if I'll be able to trace it or if I'll have to measure it. So I'll have to cut it so it kind of contours the door a little bit, so it's close. Obviously I left a lot of material there, but you can kind of see how it's going to fit. So my plan is just to kind of grind a little bit. I got to take this trim off and just kind of weld it on. So that's that. A little bit of trimming to do there. So now this, I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to slice it here, because obviously whatever I took out of the door I got to take out of this top piece. There's a curve at the top. So I think when I put this in, that curve to maintain, I'll have to leave all that, but it kind of flattens out here. So I'll take, I think it's about 6 inches. I'll probably take 6 inches out about there, weld that back on as that comes back. Then this section I can put into there or do whatever I got to do. So I probably got to trim a little bit more out because I like how this is all one piece there. But I mean, once that's in, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. If I'm going to put trim back up there. Because if I do, then I mean it'll hide a lot of that bodywork and stuff. So if the trim down here, if I can find something there, it'll draw your eye away from everything I'm doing. So, I mean, that's just kind of it. It's just tack together and some clamps. But overall, I mean, we're getting there. For 2 days of chopping, it's a 2-door in my mind. So I'll realign the door, make sure I'm happy with that. Welding the post permanently, and then I gotta get zip cut discs. So I'm out now and trim everything up and kind of test fit it all together, but the desired effect is there for sure. But that is it for me tonight now. I'm going to bed. I've had enough of this. But I'll be back at tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get this thing kind of tacked together, and we'll call it for this video. Part 1 done. What's going on, guys? So it's day 3 of chopping up this 57 Chevy into a 2-door. Made a lot of progress. It's like a bomb has gone off in here, but I'm going to keep going. So my plan today, I want to get everything tack welded all together, see what it's going to look like, make sure I'm happy with it. So I'm going to just try and sand just a little bit of the paint off the edges here. So I can weld that in. I'm going to have to get in and at least peel it back a little bit for now. The trim and up here as well. So I got to fit this top piece in. And then here, so obviously I gotta trim this to fit, so I want to make sure this is going to be all the way back where I want it. I'm going to have to measure in a few spots across, obviously from like the opening to the door itself, and then trace my line where I want it to be, cut that out, and hopefully that'll be perfect. Just give me a nice little door gap. I might even go just a little bit on the long side and work my way into it. That's the only really kind of critical part here that has to be pretty much perfect. Everything else I'm just kind of winging it. Picked up a 50 pack of zip discs. That is the tool of choice. So I'm gonna get, like I said, take some of this trim off, do a little bit of cleaning up, and then I'll get this kind of traced out and show you guys how I think it's gonna go for me. Here's the progress I've made. So I measured, take my little piece off, and that's just the excess. So that's basically the panel. I went around the edge here. So I peeled off some of this. The problem is it's actually all glued on. So I'm just going to kind of peel it back gingerly. Same with the top, I got it kind of half out. So I'm happy with that. This panel now fits pretty decent. It's going to be hard to do one-handed, but we'll just see. So if I get it kind of lined up with my knee. It's tight on the door, which is good. And up here it's a little a gap, but I have to make that piece is going to go up. And this piece here, which it would have stuck between the doors. So I'm going to probably have to cut this out. I've seen a lot of guys do when they do a 4-door to 2-door, they make the door look kind of janky. I want it to look just like my car, where it's just a line straight down and then it does its thing here. So I'm going to get this just kind of a few tack welds in. So I'm happy with where it is. Then I can come back, because I have the door, because there's no weather strip in it, I have the door clamped for where I think it's about going to be. Then I can open the door, cut everything else out, and start working on this top piece. And this will just be, I said, tacked in. So if I want to change anything, cut 3 or 4 tack welds to have it all apart. So when I get back, this will be tack welded in. I'm sure this will be chopped into a bunch of pieces. So I got a few welds holding on. It's real flimsy at the front, obviously, here, because I got to build the structure and then all in there. But I mean, you can kind of get the gist of it. The door will open and close and do its thing. So I'll have to do a little shaping in there. But again, I got to weld in some structure. So I don't know if it'll be on the outside or inside, but I'll figure that out. So it's turned out pretty good. So now I'm going to start trying to fit this piece in. So I'm probably going to have to skin part of it away. And, you know, I might just chop it in 2 pieces so it's a little more manageable, because I got to take a few inches out. And I think this is going to be the straightest area right there. Take the material out, because they're right back here. It's actually got quite a bend to it yet. So that's my plan right here. When it's kind of flat, hopefully it works out. Otherwise, I have other doors. I'll chop them up. Progress update. So I got this piece tacked in. I got this piece, so I had to cut it and I had to skin it so it would fit. And it fits pretty decent. I'm gonna have to just kind of twist it down a little, because you can see it's not even really happy with the door. But if I drop it a little bit, if I can't do that because it's sitting on top of here, so I'll have to trim this piece out. The only thing I boned a little bit was just this little pie piece right here. I should have had this panel just follow the door a little better, but what are you gonna do? I'll have to weld a little piece in. But otherwise, that's kind of how it's turning out. So I'll do a little more kind of slicing and dicing on this piece, a few more tack welds, and then once I do that, then I can get into the door and kind of make this a little nicer and decide what I want to do for structure on the inside, because it's just floppy there. But yeah, it's looking good. So I got another piece on. I'm happy with this gap. Now the problem I've run into, this piece I have left, I chopped it off, but you can see when it was together, it's not going to be long enough. And I mean, I got to fix this little pie piece anyways. So I pulled a another door out of stock, and I'm hoping if I trim a little piece out and go a little long, then I can clean it up and just kind of get in there. It'll look a little goofy. Maybe I'll have to paint it or do something. But if I get the trim right, the trim does go right across to there. So just be this little bit there. I'd have to blend in or do something, or I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm going to leave it how it is or try and paint it. But so that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and cut another piece of another door, and then see what I can trim around there. Make it happen. Here's where I ended up. It's all pretty much back together. It could have worked out a little nicer there, but when the door is closed, I still got to do a little bit of screwing around with the gap. But this is good here. I'm happy with. Now on the inside, obviously, it's just flopping away. So this is the piece I cut out originally. And how did this go? Must have gone just like that. Oh, I had it. So I'm going to end up cutting that down, because this would have fit on there and been flush on the outside between the 2 doors on the 4-door. So I'll just kind of cut it down, weld it back in. I'll clean up in here, and that'll give me my nice little, you know, nice little look in there. Should fit perfectly. So that's it. think that's what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to put, I might do that later on tonight, but I mean, ultimately, that's just a few tack welds to hold it all together. I'm not going to finish this whole side. I want to get going on the other side too, get everything all tacked together, squared away, so I'm happy with it. And then I can come back and start messing around doing all the little stuff. But ultimately, the shape is there, not much is going to change. And if I do, I can just cut a couple of welds and take it all apart. So that's it for me. That was probably, I don't know, 3 nights of doing this. It wasn't too bad. Hopefully it makes a good video for you guys. Part 1 of this thing, and like I said, when I come back, we'll start fitting with trim and all those kind of things, make it look a little nicer. But that's all. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, all those good things, and I'll see you guys on the next one.